this is Athena of AMG Creates, and today is a birthday card. I figured that this would be kind of the second easiest, I suppose, in the series. I am using a nighttime sky stencil, wild wolves, spooky forest backdrop, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the Let's Celebrate or the Snow Flurries backdrop on top of it. I had decided that it was just going to be too much, too busy of a card. So these are die cuts, die cutting plates. They're metal, and they cut paper. They can cut. I don't think they can cut wood, but they're mostly meant for cutting paper. You use a die cutting machine, whether it be the what is it? The Gemini Junior, which is just a smaller version. You can use spellbinders. There are lots of die cutting machines. You also need to create a what they call a sandwich. It's basically cutting plates. I have a magnetic shim in there, and it's what you see on the right there. What I'm doing with this, I realized after filming this that I need to move up a little bit. I tend to work over top of my work, and I'm trying hard to not. I'm trying hard to work on that. But anyway, um, the idea is to make a happy birthday card. And I figured that it would be a little bit more masculine, I guess, which is why I'm doing the blue sparkles. Yeah, or just somebody that likes blue. Um, so yeah, it'll stand out. I think that it looks good in the end. If not, I can always change up the color. Um, I could do, if the person liked tie-dye, you could do tie-dye on it. So here I am, and I'm using the die cutter again. I'm making sure that my, you can see right there, that it doesn't work well. Like the tape that I use doesn't work well with actually taping stuff down. That's why it's called low tack tape or washi tape. But you basically put the sharp edge up, because if you put it down on that magnetic shim, it'll cut into it, and I've done that enough times. And right now I'm just getting all of the little pieces out of there. This is the one of the worst parts. With the exception of the fact that it is glitter. It is one of the worst parts. Just getting all of the little pieces out of there. The other reason to tape something down is so you can run it through a second or third time, maybe adding a little bit more paper to bulk it up a little bit so that way it cuts all the way through, and it cuts all the way through a little bit better. No matter how hard you do it though, no matter how many times you run it through, you might have to get some of the stuff off like this. I guess that it's a sign of a good die that everything isn't falling apart, but it can be a little bit tiresome sometimes. So yeah, the idea with this card was like happy birthday to a lone wolf, or just wolves in general. Was dogs in general were kind of the theme of the week, but I didn't want to make it all about I miss you kind of thing as I was with the first card. So this one is a happy birthday card. I know a couple of people also have birthdays either around Halloween when dealing with the spooky forest backdrop that's right there, or Christmas. Um, some holidays, some winter holidays get looked over, and I wanted to do something that was like that without like just Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday. So I kind of centered this around like, well, if you had like a Halloween sort of thing without being so much Halloween. With this, I am making sure where I need to put my moon stencil, and you won't be seeing a whole lot of the moon, but it's nice to put it over this and see where it's going to go. Make sure that they are taped down because they are slippery. Even the paper is slippery, and it can go at the wrong time, and then sometimes it's really hard to recover from that. I have Ranger Distress Oxide, and I decided earlier as with last week's card, that I kind of like the blues and the turquoise sort of thing and teals. So that's what I was going to use with this. I like doing 2 or 3 different colors when doing something just so you have a light and a shadow and just something else to blend it. You can see what I'm doing right there. It's just putting it in, trying to figure out where I want it. The best thing about oxides is that they sort of blend together pretty well. And I'm covering up those clouds because I knew that it was going to get all over the place. I'm a messy person. I knew it was going to get a little bit messy. And of course, with some of these distress oxides, they are very wet. They're very juicy. That's ew. So I'm making sure that some of the color is out of there before I do this and just go to another color. I don't wash my brushes. I think that it sort of degrades it a little bit. See, like with that one, I didn't do a whole lot of touching of the, yeah, there's a whole lot with that one. So I didn't touch it a whole lot and it just blick all over my brush. And as you can see, it also blick all over the side. Right there. And that's okay, it happens. I will cover it up and you won't notice it as much. Some of you will still notice it, but that's okay. So doing this, making sure that it's all covered. I really like the moon dots in there, and I think that that looks really pretty. Now I need to wait for it to dry. You can see right there that it needs to be dried. Yeah. And I'm gonna take a wet wipe and wipe that little part up, otherwise it's gonna get all over the place. And trying to figure out where to put that, I think. But yeah, you can see right there too that it's just that turquoise is real wet still. And with this, I was wondering which one to put, if I want happy birthday to you or just happy birthday. These are giant happy birthdays. It's nice because if you don't have a lot of dies or stamps or anything, you can just put it on there and color in the background and you are all set to go. Color, I'm gonna put all these down and color them in. And I put all 4 of them because I wasn't sure what I wanted to put, what I wanted where. And I do have a Misty, which is kind of like a book that you can open and close to stamp. You put the stamps on one side, you close it on the other. That way if I need to stamp multiple times, then I can, and it's in the same place. I wasn't thinking about it. So with this one I'm testing grays because there is a green gray that I have, and it didn't look good. Unless, you know, it's the 21st birthday and they were a little bit green because they were drinking. But this one, all it is just coloring. I really do enjoy coloring, seeing other people's, like, how they color. I do enjoy colored pencils more than I like Copic markers, or just markers in general, because I can do so many different things with one pencil. If I want a darker color, I can press down a little bit more. If I want a lighter color, I don't have to press as much. And I've always liked them ever since, like, Crayola colored pencils have been my go-to. I've tried a couple of other ones, found that I didn't like them. As you can see, I think you saw my daughter in there real quick. She wanted to say hi while I was making this. She apologized so much for interrupting, and I said, no, I'm just gonna do voiceover for it. So yeah, she stuck her hands in real quick. Then I'm going to die cut these out so that I have them for everything that I'm doing. And then I can pop them out. I used low tack tape instead of washi tape just because the washi tape tends to take the colored pencil away, so it makes it lighter, which is weird. I don't know why, but the low tack tape doesn't. So I guess that I will be using that whenever I do things with color. And then I get to decide which one that I want where, that kind of thing. I do enjoy the thought of happy birthday to our lone wolf, that kind of thing. You can put both, like the couple on there for happy birthday from both of us. You could do, if it's a kid's birthday or if there are a lot of kids that are around, then you can do happy birthday and put a lot of little wolves. Or if they're twins, then you have two right there that you could do that for. So this is me just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with what, and I figured that the background, the bottom of the background was just looking a little too empty. So I'm going to get my hillside stencils. And I really love these because the bottom is one part and the top is the negative, so you can put it over it, and I'll show you that after I get done um, stenciling it in and everything. But yeah, first I thought I was just going to be able to go over it with just the green and see how I felt about that. Then I realized that, oh yes, you have stencils. Use the stencils. So now I have to find the stencils. And they weren't that hard to find. It was just, finding them in a whole ring of crafty crap. Ta-da! I also have a grass one. And I had thought about that too, but it wasn't going to happen. I wanted it to be simple still. So as you can see, this one arches. So the bottom of the arch or the top of the arch covers up the bottom of the arch. And I'll show you that on here. Just lining it up to see where I wanted to put it so that you can still see it. And then I'm going to put some stuff on the side so it doesn't go over onto the back of the card. And I think that it looks good. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going to really see, like that's not the focal point of the card. It was just something to fill it in to make it not look so empty. I know a lot of people will use stuff and just fill up a card. That's not something that I'm about. So yeah, see? And then the top works with that if you have another type of color that you want to put on there. So now I'm going to put everything all together, put it on there, see how it looks. See, and that looks so much better. It's little things like that that just make it look so much better. Figured, yeah, the couple of wolves would look really good, and I'm gonna glue it all together. I know that I had put all of this stuff on here. See, like if you had twins or something, or a brother and sister that were celebrating birthday, or even two girls that had birthdays together. And then the single one would be like happy birthday from the lone wolf, that kind of thing. So now I'm going to find my glue, which is going to take a little bit of time, and glue them on instead of use a tape runner. The reason for that is because you're able to move it just a little bit with glue before it actually settles. With a tape runner, especially with those little branches, you won't be able to do that. And working while the background is simple, um, it's still a lot to work on. And you don't want to like waste all of the time just, yeah, gluing that. I may have put too much glue in places, as you can, whenever I turn it around to squish it on there, there are a couple of places where I overglued, but it's clear, and it's not something that you'll notice unless you're really looking for it. And I don't press it down really hard, I just sort of pat, pat, pat. But as you can see in the upper left, it kind of overglued. This one is one too, just because I was working with a bigger thing of glue instead of a precision point. So there are some places where it squeaks out a little bit, and it happens, and that's okay. It really, in the end, whenever you give somebody something like this, it is the thought that counts. And you can tell, whenever you hand somebody a card like this, they put time into it. Because while I think that right now it says that we are at 14 minutes and 40 seconds, it probably took me 20, 30 minutes all in all to make this card, only because I had the idea in mind. I'm going to glue them and squish it down, and then that will be it for the card. Um, and you'll be seeing the spooky forest backdrop in a coming up week. But either way, I hope that you enjoyed this card, and please make sure to like and subscribe so that you can see more of the cards that I do. And of course, I'm going to pick up all my stuff and put it away because that's what a good scrapbooker does. What a good stamper and everything does is they start to put away their stuff. Otherwise, it gets lost. And then we have to go on Facebook groups and be like, hey, where does this go? Because I have too many to remember. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys in the next one.